Oh wait, I probably should have well, just want to make sure this is working. See if my live stream and this review is working. We're gonna talk about Friday Night SmackDown. We're gonna talk about the preview and petition for WWE Night of Champions. We might talk about AEW Forbidden Door that comes on Sunday. I think NXT comes on Sunday. Well, we got AEW Forbidden Door, and then we got um yeah, so like it's gonna be a long weekend. Just want to say hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, thank you for all support. Hit that like button. This video is sponsored by PlayStation. I got more on the way, so enjoy the video. Oh, I'll make it like an hour and 10 minute live stream. Yeah, so we got AEW Forbidden Door on Sunday. And then we got the NXT show, I think. That was Impact Wrestling. Yeah. Well, anyway. Alright. I'm making sure that the live stream is on. Um, Now let me go into this first. Hold on. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let's get into my preview, my reviews. Pretty sure SmackDown was pre-taped. Well, it wasn't live. Well, it wasn't live. It was pre-taped. Tomorrow it's gonna be tomorrow in the afternoon at 12 o'clock. Alright, let's go into SmackDown. Now, while I do my review, I'm gonna play Fortnite because, I can't do it on my wrestling. This has some technical difficulties and some error with my W2K25 game, so I'm just gonna play Fortnite. At the same time, I'm gonna talk about the wrestling show. Now, what happened on SmackDown? Kind of boring, kind of sucked. Thankfully, this is the last 3 hours of SmackDown. Next week we're going to 2 hours. Thank God. Thank God the torture and nightmare is over. That doesn't make it any better. We hope the show is good and that can be reduced to 2 hours. Maybe they have better messages and better storylines and better television. But 2 hours will be next week. This is the last 3 hours. The show, so SmackDown opened up with Ricky saying Black tricked William with a microphone, obviously setting up for the match. Chelsea Green saved Tiffany Stratton from Jay Cargo's attack. Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga cut tie with Solo Sikoa. Ray Phoenix versus Nathan Fraser for the Cruiserweight title. Ray Phoenix got the victory. The War Raiders challenged R-Truth and Damien Priest for tag team titles, I think next week or down the line. So they're setting up that up. The War Raiders are the champions on the Triple H show. And they're setting up a match with Priest and Truth. R-Truth was speaking weird in that segment. Yeah, so Paige returned to England to battle JC Jane in her hometown. Paige got the victory. Now there's some tension with LA Knight and Solo. Solo had no one. Also, I want to remind you, there are reports now that the Zilla 2 is signing with WWE. The reports of him at the Performance Center, and he could be signing with the company. He might go to SmackDown or Raw. We'll have to wait and see. He could join. He could align with Solo since Solo had no one. Now that the MRTs have finally left Solo for his failure and after getting involved last week. Anyway, let's continue. Matt Cardona helped Danhausen against Lost Garza. They beat the Garza with an explosive curse. Jade Cargill hit Jade on Tiffany Stratton after defeating Chelsea Green. Blake Monroe arrived to SmackDown finally. And then the main event segment was Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Sami told Cody to keep Kevin Owens' name out your mouth. Then we had a brawl with Zayn, Gunther, and Cody. Jey Uso got involved for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, the show ended with we did see Open Femi came out. He had to stand down with Cody Rhodes. They're teasing that. That's a potential tease, by the way. Alright. Alright. Hold on a second. So I think that was SmackDown. Alright. My vote show.
Need food for your workplace on weekends?
Fight for Pro.
Welcome back, Cresta. Yes, Cresta doing her own commentary last week. We'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, we'll discuss that Danhausen segment because I
that far away, and this was a show, a tape show, of course, that was really building towards that event. So this is a go home. It's a go home for Night of Champion.
Well, my vote is showing some of my podcasters here.
Always on his own. We're gonna part with a heavy heart. We bid farewell. At least until January. But putting that aside for a moment. We bid farewell to 3 hours of mediocre television. We bid farewell. As we make our way towards what you and I both know will be 2 hours of mediocre television every single week. But 2 hours of mediocre television is always better than 3 hours of mediocre television, so we'll take it. But so as not to end on a sour note here, I don't want to sound like a negative Nancy, and because we all should be respectful of the dead, I shall end by saying something positive about this show. I will say something positive about Friday Night SmackDown. Now, who the fuck am I kidding? I can't say anything positive about 3 hours of SmackDown. What, are you out of your fucking mind? There ain't nothing positive to say about 3 hours of SmackDown. What we're gonna do here is we are gonna party. That's what we're going to do. Because we have been waiting for this now for many, many months. And finally, the day is here. We're gonna bust out the confetti. We're gonna bust out the fucking ball you see there at the top of your screen. And we are going to celebrate. We are going to revel in the end of 3 hour SmackDowns. That is what we are going to do here. Tonight, we celebrate. We're going to put our dancing shoes on. That is what we are going to do. You know how long I've waited for this? You know how many weeks? I thought this was going to happen in May. And then I come to find out, oh, no, it's going to be in June. Then June comes and goes, and now all of a sudden we're looking at the first 2-hour SmackDown at the beginning of July. Like I've been waiting weeks and weeks for this moment, and finally we are here. Good Lord. You like my disco ball? I think I may break that disco ball out every week. Wave goodbye to it. Oh my goodness. Tonight, it was the go-home show. Tonight of Chase. See, I try to be respectful. I felt like I had to at least come on here and just say a few words and just commemorate, the 3-hour era of SmackDown until, of course, we come back to it in January. We'll try to enjoy it until we get there. Oh my God. Night of Champions is actually less than 24 hours away. And we have another stream. We have another show to do. It was also, SmackDown was tonight, taped in London on Tuesday. Because I guess they had to get everybody over to Riyadh for the show tomorrow, so they had to tape SmackDown in advance. SmackDown next week is also being taped, by the way. It's going to be taped on Monday, which is why Raw on Monday starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. Because they're taping 2 shows that night, because they want to give the crew off, I guess, for 4th of July weekend. But if you heard the story earlier today, this was apparently a big deal. The WWE was very upset that SmackDown leaked early. Not the results. I mean, the results, of course, are going to leak. But the actual episode, video of the episode, leaked early. And they're very upset about this. And somebody sent me the video, so I had the chance to watch the show early. You know what? The only thing worse than sitting through 3 hours of SmackDown is sitting through 3 hours of SmackDown twice, which is what I did, because I watched the SmackDown feed on USA Network today. Although, to be honest, it really wasn't 3 hours as far as the video that leaked. It was more like 2 hours and 10 minutes, because all the commercials were cut out. But still, that's over 5 hours of SmackDown, of the same show that I watched this week. The things I do for you guys. And the key developments on the show were very slim, because it was the go-home show. So, of course, the majority of what we got tonight was the promotion of all of the matches that are on the card for tomorrow. The closing segment, for example, the main event of SmackDown tonight was a promo segment involving the parties involved in the WWE Championship match and the King of the Ring match. We had Cody, we had Gunther, we had Sami, but then Jey Uso showed up. Yee. Jey Uso came out, Boba Femi came out. He didn't say anything, but just his mere presence was felt. So, of course, that's how they closed the show. And actually, in terms of what they did there, I'm not saying what they did was anything out of the ordinary, but I thought that segment was fine as far as what they wanted to achieve. But the key developments on this show, the end of the MFTs is upon us. I mean, it's been teased now for the longest time between Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa that there was friction there, right? There were issues between the two of them. And so now the MFTs, it would appear, are no more. And I will say this, I actually find myself at least semi-interested, more so now, in what Solo Sikoa is doing or what Solo Sikoa is going to be doing now that he is no longer the head of this Temu Bloodline faction. And the MFTs have split up. And Solo is on his own. He's got nobody. He's got no friends. He's got no family. He's got no partners. He's got no allies. He's tried to link up with Royce Keys. He wants nothing to do with him. Tonight, he was trying to convince LA Knight that the two of them should be simpatico. They should be on the same side. LA Knight said, yeah, I have no interest in that. And I find myself at least intrigued with where they're going to go with Solo Sikoa in a way that I absolutely was not before when he was leading with or leading or affiliated with the MFTs. Could not give a single solitary shit. At least now, I'm interested to see where they're going to go with him. But this was a long time coming. This has been a dead group for a very long time. The other development on this show was the arrival of Blake Monroe, who has been coming now for many, many weeks. And she actually came many weeks ago. She showed up for 15 seconds on SmackDown backstage, and then all of a sudden it was back to the vignettes again. It was very straight. It's like they had second thoughts on when they wanted to debut her. And they opted to wait until they were in her hometown of London. And tonight we got the debut of Blake Monroe, and we found out who her first opponent I guess, who her first feud is going to be with, and that will be Julia, because she came out after Julia's win over Kiana James, and she attacked Julia, who actually is someone she has a little bit of history with. And so those really were the only big developments on SmackDown tonight. The rest of this was very pedestrian, very paint-by-numbers stuff, but that's SmackDown. I've seen worse. I've seen much worse. We're going to go through the entire thing here because this is your final 3-hour SmackDown review. It is Friday night. It is June 26th, 2026. I am your minister here, or whatever. I don't know what I am, but I am the Solemn Monster. That's who I am. And I'm very happy that you are joining me here on a Friday night. So grab a drink or a snack or don't. I don't give a shit as long as you just hang out with us. That's all that matters. Like and subscribe. Super chats are open, so if you want to get them on in, I will be reading all of your messages. If you would like to eulogize 3 hours of SmackDown, if you have thoughts on the death of 3 hours of SmackDown, feel free to share with the rest of the class. And we'll be reading your messages a little bit later on. Now, let's bust out the wheel. This is what we do. And we're going to spin the wheel, and we're going to find out here exactly how many likes we need to do, hopefully, be the booker tonight. See, I had to dress for the occasion. It's just how I do things. 475 likes. You like? Yes. Yes. The master of ceremonies tonight. Can't tell if the microphone's blocking my tie, but 475 likes is what we need. We are currently at 236, so that is the goal for tonight. Now let's get into this here. I gotta go live again in like less than how many hours away? 1 o'clock Eastern it starts. Probably 4:30 probably. Yeah, something like that. Preach, minister, solo. Thank you, my brother. Was the 3 hours of SmackDown cremated or buried? Oh, there have been a lot of people that have been buried over these last 6 months on these 3-hour SmackDowns, but I would say it was cremated tonight. Michael Cole joined Corey Graves on commentary in place of Joe Tessitore, who they said was off to do Zuffa boxing. Yeah, every time they mention Zuffa boxing, I could not possibly give a shit. But they're hyping it so much because, of course, it falls under the TKO banner. Nick Khan is involved. I don't give a shit. Every time they show a Zuffa boxing fighter on screen and nobody reacts, yeah, they're going to try to shovel that shit down your throat as much as possible because they're trying to create something. So he was off doing Zuffa boxing, or getting ready to anyway. Trick Williams was out to the ring to open the show with Lil Yachty. And he said last week he was in Jamaica with Lash Legend because the two of them got married, which is true. Congrats to the newlywed couple. The fans cheered. Lash Legend was not there tonight. He was. Not sure why, but he called it the best day of his life. Now, back to business, he promised to whoop Ricky Saints' ass at Night of Champions because he's going to be defending the United States Championship against him on that show. And that brought out Ricky Saints. Says he doesn't give their marriage much time. Trick then threatened to smack him down to London Bridge if he keeps running his mouth. Trick must still be hungover from the wedding, says Ricky. Tomorrow he takes the U.S. title. Ricky asked if his little friend came with the championship, referring to Lil Yachty, who objected to this, but as Yachty began speaking, Ricky cheap-shotted him right in the mouth, and he ran out of the ring. And Trick turned his back to go check on Yachty, so Ricky slipped back into the ring. He hit Trick in the head with the microphone, and then again, he ran off. So this was very, very basic stuff as far as go-home segments are concerned. I don't think that Ricky has much chance of walking out of Riyadh with the championship tomorrow, but this is his first singles match on a PLE. It's a big platform for him. It's a big opportunity for him. He needs to go out there and he needs to have a good match. because the spotlight will be on him. Now, I know it's an undercard match. Maybe they'll get 8 minutes, but still, first singles match on a PLE. I don't know when the next time is. Ricky Saints is going to have a singles match on a PLE, so hopefully he'll be able to make the most of it. Now, we got highlights from Charlotte Flair being attacked backstage last week by Jade Cargill and the Baddies, who injured her knee. And that ultimately cost Charlotte her Queen of the Ring match against Liv Morgan, who is going to the finals. Jackie Redmond interviewed Alexa Bliss backstage, who said that Charlotte is home dealing with not only the physical pain, but the emotional toll. The emotional strain of what happened to her last week. Tonight, she gets revenge for her, even if it means she has to team up with... And then in walks Tiffany Stratton, who says that she only cares about getting through her match tomorrow with Jade and beating Jade. Alexa says she knows Tiffany and Charlotte have history, but she happened to help them before, and so she's just here to return the favor. And so, it was Tiffany Stratton and Alexa Bliss as tag team partners taking on Michin and B-Fab. Late in the match, Bliss got sent over the barricade into the timekeeper's area by Michin. Inside, Tiffany was setting up for the prettiest moonsault ever to B-Fab. She got as high up as the middle rope before Jade appeared, and she tripped her up. And so Tiffany fell backwards. Referee did not see this because he was occupied with Michin. And B-Fab pins Tiffany Stratton. Yes, indeed, B-Fab just got a pinfall win here over the United States champion with her finish. I don't know what she calls it, but she starts out in a neckbreaker position and then basically twists into a facebuster, which seems like a lot of work. I don't know why you would just not hit a facebuster. Whatever she calls it, it was effective, and she picked up the win here. By the way, I've been calling them the Baddies. A lot of people have been calling them the Baddies. That's what Jade's minions were called in AEW. But now WWE appears to officially be referring to them as the Baddies, because Corey Graves called them that multiple times here on this show. So apparently now that's officially a thing. After the match, Jade and her crew, they were stalking Tiffany, who was in the corner. She was outnumbered when Chelsea Green ran out with a kendo stick, and she made the save. She hit B-Fab in the aisleway. She gets up on the apron. She goes to climb into the ring. The kendo stick, though, was vertical. So as she tried to enter the ring, it basically bounced off the ropes and then flew out of her hands and landed on the ground outside. So she was stickless, and this was not going to end well for Chelsea Green. But even without the stick, though, she was able to hold her own. She low-bridged Jade out to the floor, and Chelsea, Tiffany, and Alexa, they all posed together in the ring when it was over. Chelsea looks like she's finally growing on Tiffany Stratton. She's winning her over. Now, backstage later, Jade was very upset about this. She demanded that Nick Aldis book her in a match against Chelsea Green tonight. She goes, "I'm not asking you, I'm telling you." And so he did. Now, there was no Charlotte Flair on this show. She was out selling the injury. I have every expectation that we are going to see her tomorrow at Night of Champions. If there's one thing that will motivate somebody to fly halfway across the world, as I believe Kevin Owens did or AJ Styles did many years ago, it is revenge. And so Jade cost Charlotte the opportunity to go all the way to the finals of the Queen of the Ring. I think it only makes sense for Charlotte to show up and do something to screw Jade out of the crown. Or not the crown, but, I guess the U.S. Championship would be her crown. But basically screw her out of the title tomorrow. And then they can go off and they can start building to Charlotte and Jade, which I'm sure is going to be the SummerSlam match. They recap Solo Sikoa coming out last week during Tama Tonga and Tala Tonga's Tag Team Championship match with Damian Priest and R-Truth, which Tama Tonga, in no uncertain terms, had told him, "Do not do that. Stay in the back. We don't want you out there. We don't need you out there. You're preoccupied. You have other things going on with the family. You have other things going on with Roman. Let us go out there and do our thing." And of course, he came out anyway, and they ended up losing. So backstage live, Solo was with the two of them. He was laughing and bragging about what he did to Jimmy Uso on Monday. Spiked him in the throat. Remember, he cost him the match against LA Knight. And he laughed and he said, "Roman ain't gonna like that." And Thomas said, "We saw." And that's the problem. Because they're tired of getting dragged into his war. Solo's obsession with Roman is tearing this group apart. Last week they told him to stay in the back. He didn't listen. And now they're standing there and they don't have any tag team championships. And now he's helping LA Knight? So Tala Tonga spoke. He doesn't get the chance to do that very often. He spoke up and he said, Solo, we heard from the elders. Uh-oh. They heard from the elders. Him and Tama, they're out. Solo said, you can't leave. And Tama told him, we just did. And they walked away, all while Solo was just left by himself, screaming at them, you can't leave me, I brought you here. Nobody leaves me, except everybody. So this was, I guess we can officially call it, the end of the MFTs. Finally, at long last, the nightmare is over. The MFTs are no more. The family tree, my family tree, has been cut down. Paul Bunyan chopped that shit down. Now Solo Sikoa is all by himself. And it's interesting that if this is the end of the MFT, which we have to assume it is, that it ends in the most anticlimactic way possible. In just a simple walk-off in a backstage segment. No big blow-up in the middle of the ring or, brawl or Tama Tonga gets the big babyface pot for, shoving Solo away. Nothing like that. Just ends in the most anticlimactic way possible, which honestly is very on brand, I think, for the MFTs, because pretty much everything they ever did in their time on SmackDown was anticlimactic. So in a way, it kind of fits. It kind of works, that this is how it all comes to an end. And if this was anything that I was truly invested in, if this was a group or if this was a storyline that I could really bring myself to care about, or have some sort of emotional attachment to, I would say that it was a very lame way for this to end, but I'm just glad it's over. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about the fact that they ended the MFTs the way they did. It was long overdue. Good. I'm glad to see it. Now, coming off his win over Axiom, tonight we had Rey Fenix defending his AAA Cruiserweight Championship against Axiom's partner, Nathan Frazier. They got off to a hot start, very different than what we are accustomed to seeing here on these shows on Friday nights. A little bit kind of like the Nitro formula, I guess you would say, from 30 years ago, in that if you watch those old Nitro shows, and there was a lot going on, a lot more exciting stuff going on those shows, but in terms of the in-ring, when you saw those Cruiserweight matches, right, it was a very different style, a very different pace that they were working relative to all the other matches on the show. And so you would have that match maybe at the top of the hour, beginning of the show, and then they would transition into whatever, what could be a TV title match or something else, and things would sort of come back down to earth. And so, like, you watch an episode of Dynamite, right? I just reviewed Dynamite on Wednesday. You watch an episode of Dynamite, it's basically one speed. It's like if you wanted to go beyond the speed limit. Typically, let's say the speed limit is 15 miles an hour. That's SmackDown. SmackDown is 15 miles an hour. And then here come Axiom or Nathan Frazier or Rey Fenix, and they go out there, and all of a sudden, you're driving fucking 65, 70. And then the match is over, and then things slow back down to, you see a cop off in the distance, and so you slow back down to 15. That's SmackDown. Whereas if you watch Dynamite any given Wednesday, you're basically cruising fucking 85 miles an hour down the road. And you don't, what does Jacob Fatu say? All gas, no brakes with it? Yeah, that's basically the way it works on Dynamite. The brakes don't work. It's just one speed. And so everything sort of feels the same. It's really noticeable on this show when you get a match like this, because it stands out more, because everything else is just so slow. Plotting. Not two words I would use to describe this match here. As far as, this guy, look, one other thing also I'll say about Rey Fenix is I hope we get more matches like this, and I hope we get more matches like this with Rey Fenix on this show, because the guy was a ghost on SmackDown for most of the year. You know, we had that match recently with Axiom. He had this one. I don't think they have enough people to really put with him for this to last much longer. Maybe they could put him in there with, again, Angel or Berto or something. After that, the well's going to run dry. But like I said, he's been a ghost, you know, for most of the year. So it's nice to at least see him on television. And if having the AAA Cruiserweight Championship is going to be the means for us to get more of that, then great. So be it. I mean, it's sad that it took that to get here, but here we are. There was a big high crossbody off the top by Phoenix to Frazier out on the floor early in the match. Frazier came back with a flip dive of his own out onto the champion. Phoenix shoved Frazier off the ropes. Frazier, though, he raced back up. He delivered a superplex. Frazier then set up for the final cut. Phoenix caught him inside cradle only for a 2 count. Both men, they stood up. They threw kicks at the exact same time. It left both of them down. Later on, Frazier got a Spanish fly off the middle rope into a final cut. Phoenix got knocked outside. Frazier went for a suicide dive, and Phoenix got out of the way, and Nathan Frazier took a very scary bump. Not onto the announce desk. He took a scary bump into the announce desk and damn near killed himself. So he got him back in the ring. Phoenix went up for a frog splash and nailed it. Only got a close near fall. After which he was able to get Frazier in position for the Mexican Muscle Buster. He hit it, he pinned him, and he retained the championship. And Michael Cole, as soon as the match was over, Michael Cole referred to this as a classic. Now, I would not go that far. Okay, pump the brakes. I would not go that far. But they had an excellent sprint. And again, I hope we get to see more of this. I hope we get to see more of Phoenix specifically appearing on these shows. You know, having the AAA title probably works to his advantage in that it gives him a reason to get him on the show. I think the only reason he's even on the show is because it gives them a reason to promote the AAA brand, right? They want to drive traffic to that show on YouTube every week. It's The Undertaker's baby. They want to get as many people as they can watching AAA. So we'll have a AAA champion on the show, right? Same thing with the War Raiders. They have the AAA tag team titles. This is not about pushing the War Raiders. It's about pushing the brand. They don't give a shit about Eric and Ivar. They don't give a shit about Rey Fenix. They could not be bothered to give a shit about him for the first 6 months of this year. It's about pushing the brand. That's really what it's about. But you know what? If that's what it's about, at least he can benefit from it so long as he has that championship. So long may he reign. Because after that, I don't know if we'll see him again on this show. Backstage, Byron Saxton, he was talking to Damian Priest and R-Truth about what's next after beating the MFTs last week to retain their tag team titles. And before they could answer, wouldn't you know, the AAA tag team champions show up. It's Eric and Ivar. It's the War Raiders, who are Monday Night Raw stars, but nothing matters anymore. And so they show up, and they ask for a match. They propose a match. Champions versus champions, title for title. It's AI. You know what? Nothing would shock me at this point if WWE AI'd the fix there. You may be right. You may very well be right. But I'll tell you what, if it was...
You come to the end of the Knicks. The report that my fine friends over at WrestleVotes put out today didn't really do anything to change my mind on that opinion either. Out of all of the matches, outside of the open of the show and the close of the show, which more than likely will be Cody, Sami, and Gunther main eventing, and the men opening the show with Jay and Obafemi for the King of the Ring. They said tonight, or earlier this afternoon rather, that the outcome, the result of this match between Obafemi and Jey Uso is being kept very quiet. Obafemi, we've talked about this, bro. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I just want them to rip the Band-Aid off at this point. If Oba wins tomorrow, we can all celebrate. We'll light the cigars, we'll pour the cold beverages. We'll celebrate tomorrow. If Jey Uso wins, unfortunately, it is going to be a very, 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 very long summer. And with this company, no matter what decision they make, they cannot and should not be trusted. Normally, when the babyface stands tall at the end of the show, normally what that means is going into the pay-per-view, that bodes very badly for the babyface. SmackDown tonight did absolutely nothing to get you excited about what's to come at Night of Champions. We got video packages for Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. We got a bunch of women's matches that I'm sure not a single fucking person gives a shit about. What is with the overabundance of women's matches that mean absolutely fuck all on this show? Bro, you would think that the SmackDown roster has absolutely no men's division. For 2.5 hours, I had to watch mid-women's wrestling on Friday night. Why? At least we had a Blake Monroe appearance. At least we had a Blake Monroe SmackDown debut. They waited till they went overseas in London, England, to debut the hometown girl in Blake Monroe. Unfortunately, they're starting her off with a dead feud with a dead gimmick in Julia. It didn't do anything for Kiana, and I guess they want Blake Monroe to suffer the same fate. Triple H says people take this show too seriously sometimes. Brother, if I'm not taking it serious, who the fuck is going to take it serious? If I'm not going to take it serious, who's going to take it seriously? They don't take their jobs seriously whatsoever. I mean, they're riding their horse all the way to the fucking bank. They don't give a fuck. These people don't care. The money that they've made is already in their bank accounts. Guaranteed. How are we supposed to have fun with the product when the people writing the show don't have fun with the product? I don't even think these people know what fun is. He was on the Stephen A. Smith show. Triple H was asked to deliver a message to the fans about what the WWE product is all about. Why is it that every time there's a PLE cycle, that ESPN invites these fucking schmucks, these soulless suit and ties, onto their network to recycle the same motherfucking garbage and narrative that I could go to ChatGPT and it could spit out the same fucking garbage to me every single time? What is your message to the WWE fans about the current product? What is it all about? ESPN don't give a shit. The fans of ESPN don't want this shit on their network. They don't want to watch Stephen A. Smith and see fucking Danhausen or Triple H or Cody Rhodes on the show. They don't care. They don't care. He used the moment to pitch the company's wide-ranging appeal and to invite lapsed viewers back into the fold. He thinks lapsed fans are going to come back to the product that he's booking. To see what? Meechin and B-Fab against fucking Alexa Bliss and Tiffany Stratton? To see what? Jade Cargill versus Chelsea Green? I think that we bring an event to you. It's always going to be exciting. And it's always going to be a surprise. And it's going to delight you. And we bring a little bit of something for everybody. He noted that range by pointing at both ends of the WWE spectrum. There's the entertainment component of a Danhausen. There's a serious component of a Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's if and when they show up to work there, big dog. The only reason why you mentioned Brock Lesnar is because Brock Lesnar's a former UFC champion. And one of the more legit athletes in the entire fucking business. And Roman Reigns. He's got to show up to work there, big dog. He's got to actually wrestle there, outside one time a month. And a Cody Rhodes, and a Rhea Ripley, and a Becky Lynch, and a Jade Cargill. There's not one single fucking person buying a ticket to watch Jade Cargill. Give me a fucking break. But the storylines keep you hooked, he said. Chat? Storylines. Where are the stories? Bloodline? You mean the Bloodline story that we've been seeing for the last 6 years now? Just done in a different way. They're recycled. It's made to feel different, but it's the same. We got different characters in there playing the characters of the old characters, but it's the same. Got it. Roman's holding a championship, but it's a different title. Got it. Oh, Jey Uso. Jey Uso, he's not the right-hand man anymore. He's nothing more than fucking Bozo the Clown. Every week. And now he's got this thing. This is your warning shot, Oos! Bang! Give him one of them fucking guns that just shoot out the flag that says bang on it. Like a clown. LA Knight. He's in his story, right? We don't know where he's gonna go. Solo Sikoa, right? Those are what constitute as stories, right? The only story that matters right now is Sami Zayn. Everything else is... Get it the fuck out of here. Triple H leaned on a timely sports analogy to make his point about WWE's non-stop nature. When you come to the end of the Knicks winning the big game in our world, the next night it starts all over again. This guy legitimately is... He can't help himself. He's got to use the Knicks' major win after 53 years in the NBA Finals to make a correlation on how it's the same as WWE. Or I guess in this case, not the same, but apparently to him, his company is the New York Knicks of professional wrestling, the champions. Number one. Best in the league. There's always fresh, there's always new, there's always something big happening. Really? Chat, there's always something big happening. Oh, man! I can't wait to tune into this show and fall asleep halfway through. There's always something new and fresh. SmackDown is so new and fresh. The shows start the same every Monday and every Friday. There's no difference between the shows. The only difference is the fucking color scheme. One's red and one's blue. So even if you've missed out for a bit, you can jump right back in. Yeah, that's right. Even if you missed out, chat, you could jump right in. You missed fucking 3 weeks, you miss nothing because nothing happens. Nothing happens. Gone are the days where you miss 1 week and you gotta catch up. On everything, man. If you miss 1 week, it's detrimental to the overall story. You can miss 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks and not miss a fucking thing that happened. Everything remains the same because Triple H walks down Sesame Street holding Elmo's hand. That's the way he books. So even if you missed out for a bit, you could jump right back in and be a part of those stories and be a part of those epic moments. Triple H also encouraged fans to not get too wrapped up in it all, framing WWE as an escape. The other aspect of, I think, that people lose perspective of sometimes is we're just fun. We're fun. They're so fun. Oh, man. Everything is so great. And sometimes people take it too seriously. Sometimes people get caught too up in it. But it's there to entertain, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world. If you just want to turn off for a couple of hours and tune into something cool that you could just lose yourself in and have a good time, WWE Place is the place to do it. Above all, he then goes on to talk about the live experience, shilling it to the ESPN viewers. If you've never seen it live, I'm telling you, come to a live event, come to one of our PLEs, come to a TV. There's nothing like it in entertainment. Oh, you mean the show with the overabundance of nonsensical, doesn't mean a fucking thing women's matches and long drawn-out entrances, only to then go into a commercial and then give the fans 4 minutes of pro wrestling on top of 20 minutes of entrances and commercials. Bro, Triple H has lost every shred of credibility that he's ever had, and now he is in a position, this is the position that he longed for, this is the position that he's desired ever since his father-in-law was ousted as a sexual pest. Triple H has lost all of his credibility. He is nothing more than a snake oil salesman. He is nothing more than a cheap used car salesman trying to shill you on the WWE product in front of Stephen A. Smith and ESPN. I'm not doubting that fans are having a good time at the live shows. Some of them do, and then some of them are like Monday in the O2 Arena in London. Absolutely just dead to the world, quiet, a zombie crowd because the show was largely terrible. But when he says, don't take it too seriously, fans get too wrapped up in it, is Triple H a fan of a sport or a sports team? Did his daughters play grade school sports or high school sports, college sports? Was he not wrapped up in it? Did he not want to see them win and succeed? Most of you listening to me are fans of something. The Marvel movies, the DC movies that he models his writing after. There are some movie buffs in this chat. Most of you, if not all of you, are a fan of a sports team. Bro, I'm an Atlanta Braves fan since 1991. They're playing like utter dog shit and about to lose the NL East. You don't think that I'm angry, upset, disappointed? If you're not, then that shows you don't care. If you want people to have fun in the midst of their down period, bro, fans are not having fun right now.
I'll get it.
Fans are not having fun.
I got it. I'll take
You know when we'll have fun? When the shows are actually good. You know when we'll have fun? When the shows are actually engaging and the narrative is on point and the stories are hitting. Everybody was having fun 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and then fans weren't having fun. We will have fun when the shows are booked the way that they are supposed to be booked. We will have fun when the shows are actually good. I am so fucking tired of this narrative that you can't criticize bad television. I am so fucking tired that I don't even engage with these fucking brain rot fucks on social media anymore. The one thing I always hear, I got it at least once tonight. I instantly blocked the motherfucker. Oh, but you still watch, JD. Why don't you go do something else, JD?
We told you you're not getting justice. Let the parents.
Yes, let me go work a fucking sloppy 9-to-5 job like you, making $7.50 an hour. You fucking half-witted idiot. When I can sit here in my fucking underwear, I'm not my underwear, I'm in my Dr. Disrespect shorts, and drink my coffee all day long. And make a video that I know will do easy 20 to 25,000 views within the first 12 hours. No. I will not stop watching. No, I will not stop criticizing. Criticism comes in all forms. If the show is good, we will criticize the show and gauge the show as largely good. If the show sucks, we will obviously say the show sucks, and then harp on what needs to be done better. Old Triple H said he's saying what he used to say in the past. If you go back and listen to this man has went through the fucking emotions of somebody that is clearly in a position of, I don't give a fuck anymore. At one point, 2 years ago, the man was rattled to the core that WWE, Vince McMahon, removed. We place him. He's the new fucking king. He's the one in power. We as fans look at him as the savior of the company. And largely through WrestleMania 40, everybody was fucking excited. Me as a creator, never seen anything like that in my time producing content. Everything you did, instant. People were interested. People were engaged. And he got the praise for that. Triple H got the praise for that. Triple H got the praise for how everything went through WrestleMania 40 and Cody finishing his story. Everything. But I could sit here and tell you that Triple H basically took over for Vince McMahon. The bloodline was already in place. I can sit here and spew one thing that will dead the entire conversation about Triple H getting all the credit. You do realize, and I hate the fucking man, don't get me wrong, I'm not vouching for a comeback or anything. You do realize that Vince McMahon was the one who made the decision for Roman Reigns to beat Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania 39. I hope you are aware of that. I hope you realize that Vince McMahon was still, through WrestleMania 39, very much involved in the WWE creative aspect, at least through the fall of that year. And then he was whisked away. Triple H took over while everything was already in place. The bloodline, the majority of it was played out under Vince's administration. All Triple H needed to do was basically take he was the last person in an assembly line at the ice cream shop. All Triple H did was take the ice cream that was already scooped, pound it down into the cup, and he's the one that puts the cherry on top of the ice cream before you go to the cash register and pay for your ice cream. It's the simplest way to put it. He got all the credit for that. But when we want to criticize the product as being boring and slow and predictive, Sesame Street, we can't say that. It works one way, but not the other. They want it to work one way, but they don't want it to work in the opposite way. Who else are we going to blame? Ari Emanuel? Mark Shapiro? Bruce Pritchard, who I read today, hasn't even been there for 6 months. Where the fuck is he? He must be getting ready for a Vince McMahon comeback, huh? All Triple H is doing is telling you what he told you about 1.5 years ago and rewording it to be Mr. Nice Guy now. He's trying to be a little bit more public relations forward. After WrestleMania 40, we go into WrestleMania 41. He was sitting down with Peter Rosenberg, and he said, we make movies like DC and Marvel. That's what the WWE is all about. And then he goes on to say, you know what I hate? I hate when people go to the movie theater just to critique the movie and they're on social media and they're letting everybody know this movie sucks. Shut the fuck up and just watch the show is, in plain English, what he basically told Peter Rosenberg about the fans who criticize him and his product. And that's when he was getting heat. That's when he was getting heat. The heat got too hot for Triple H in the kitchen. Then going into WrestleMania 42, everything is fun. Everything is fun. This is what we do. He's using all these buzzwords about, oh, it's going to change the foundation of WWE. It's a new era in WWE. I think he said about Night of Champions, it's going to be a unique moment in time. Motherfucker, shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck about a unique moment. I don't care about a new era. I don't care about this is what we do. I don't care. Just fucking give me proper, engaging, storyline-driven television. How do we look at this as fun? Over-commercialization of the product. Ads every fucking 5 minutes. Less and less and less and less pro wrestling. We had to go through a WrestleMania where we got fucking 20 minutes of commercials in between matches, and then the matches that followed lasted 6 minutes. Motherfucker, if you think that WrestleMania was the last of that, wait till you watch SummerSlam. To sell a 2-night event, ESPN and all the fucking sponsors are licking their lips at the over-commercialization of the product. I can't wait to watch Io Sky versus Liv Morgan go 5 minutes. I can't wait to watch Cody Rhodes and whoever he wrestles go fucking 13 minutes. It's not fun. None of it is fun. He's basically telling you without telling you, please stop criticizing our product. Don't take it too seriously. We're just trying to have a good time. If you book the show in a proper way, if you book the show the way that it's supposed to, people will have a good time. You're asking and forcing people to have a good time with obvious slop. None of it is engaging. None of it is interesting. None of it is unique, fresh, new, exciting. It all sucks. Every bit of it. And on top of that, how is spending the money that these shows are charging fun? Do you think people willingly take out their debit card when they go online to buy a ticket for this show, look at the final price with taxes and fees, and then say, man, I'm taking me, my wife, and the 3 kids to a WWE show, man. Look at this fucking bill, honey. This is fun. Fun. Airfare, hotel, tickets, souvenirs, food, fun! You've done everything to make it unfun for the fucking families. Mark Shapiro basically said Vince McMahon catered way too much to the families. No, he just wants his fucking Netflix pedophile fucking friends sitting front row. His Hollywood fucking elitists sitting front row. Yeah, let me go to a WWE show and then go to an after party where there's blood rituals. Fuck out of here, bro. You kidding me? Shit is fucking garbage. I swear to God, man. If there's one thing I can tell you guys is to stay off social media during a pay-per-view cycle. WWE PR interviews are fucking so tiresome. The AEW interviews are so tiresome. You got people over on the AEW side, Alba and Sap and all these other fucking absolute dog shit shills out there fucking bending over backwards to interview Tekla and fucking Kevin Knight. During an ECW, during an AEW, might as well be ECW, an AEW pay-per-view cycle. Oh, AEW's up in every metric. AEW's this. AEW's killing it in the ratings. AEW is putting on banger shows. Motherfucker, they are so bad as it is themselves that I don't know how anybody can go out there and say that they are good. Stay off social media. Stay off social media. That's all I can tell you. Triple H is nauseating. Triple H is not... God, man, I miss the days of him just standing in the ring and saying nothing but, we are NXT. And he let the product speak for itself because he knew the product was fucking absolute golden. Now we got him out here fucking criticizing us and telling us don't take the product too seriously because you should be having fun. It's fun. It's an escape. When most of the time I want to escape from the fucking terrible television that he and his team are producing every week. Jesus fucking Christ. Absolutely terrible is the WWE right now. We're going to get into this show. I had to get that off my chest, man. I was going to make a video on it today, but I said, you know what? It's not even worth my time. I'll just talk about it on SmackDown. That's what you got there, and we're going to get into this SmackDown show. When I tell you that if you miss this show, you legitimately miss nothing. The WWE rolls into the O2 Arena, into London, England, and they give these fucking people, who I love, I adore these people. These are my people. Love all my UK fans. You roll into London, England, and then you produce 2 shows, quality of which we saw on Monday and Friday, and this is what you're giving the fans over there? Couldn't be me, bro. Couldn't be me. I guarantee you everybody, the majority, I don't want to say everybody, but the majority of the people that has attended WWE shows this week probably regret their decision. This show is going back to 2 hours next week. For the first time since January 6th, or when is it? January 9th was SmackDown, right? Oh, what? January 2nd. One of those days. I don't remember. First time since January. Show is going back to 2 hours. At least until January 2027, where they are going to do another 6 months of 3 hours. It's going to be half on, half off. Bro, this show, the length of the show, has nothing to do with the overall quality of the show. No. You could book a 3-hour show and have it be fucking fantastic. It's been done before. With this roster, with this writing team, with this leadership, none of that would ever happen on this 3-hour show. I can't remember the last 3-hour SmackDown where I had absolutely nothing visceral to say about it. Where I had not one critique. We're going back to 2 hours, and the time change will mean nothing. The only difference is this show will be 1 hour less terrible. The time change means nothing. This show needs to be completely fucking gutted. Like I know what you did last summer. Gutted. It needs to be the fisherman with the hook. Gutting everything about this show from inside out. I don't think they're capable of that. I don't think they even give a shit. But we're supposed to have fun when the people running this show clearly don't know the first thing about having fun. We're going to talk about this show. We're going to wrap it up, get into Night of Champions, and then we will be on our way for yet another Friday night. This is your Friday Night SmackDown post show right here on Off the Script. It is your Friday, June 27th. Now early Saturday morning, June 27th, 2026. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on this Friday night. Tonight, we start things off. Trick Williams. Trick Williams is in the ring, and we get Trick Williams out there talking about what happened to him last weekend. He said he went to Jamaica. Lil Yachty was there. Lash Legend was there. And now I'm a married man. My friends was there. My family was there. She said, I do, and I did. And we whooped that trick all night long. He got a great reaction. You guys remember when Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Will Ospreay?
Well, what's gonna happen tomorrow? What's gonna happen tomorrow night? Well, tomorrow in the afternoon in Saudi Arabia. Like I said, the pay-per-view on Night Champion tomorrow only has 6 matches. Who I think gonna win? I think Io Sky will beat Liv Morgan. Hopefully Open Family beat Jey Uso and win King of the Ring. I think Tiffany might win. I have a feeling Jey might win, but I'm gonna go with Tiffany to retain her title. Cause that shouldn't really done much with the US title. Now we got Trick Williams and Ricky Zayn for the US Championship. I think Trick Williams will retain. And Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins in a steel cage match. I think Seth Rollins should win here and move on to something else. Hopefully they end the feud with him in the division. They move on. We don't see it again. Braun Breaker hadn't really done anything. Seth Rollins should move on, whether Roman Reigns or someone else. And then as for the main event, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Gunther for the WWE Championship match. Obviously, gonna main event. I'm okay with Sami winning. Gunther's not gonna win. As long as Gunther is protected and he looks strong, he doesn't take the pinfall. It's either between Sami or Cody. If Cody wins, okay, fine. Maybe the feud might continue going into SummerSlam. But if Sami wins, I'll be shocked. Now, it'll be surprising, and I wouldn't hate it. I think at time Cody will drop the title. Sami Zayn wins it in Saudi Arabia. So that's my prediction there. Unless if the feud gonna continue 1-on-1, cause it was Cody and Gunther and Sami got involved, so it might be the start of Cody and Sami. We could see at SummerSlam, hopefully. And no, it's not gonna be Open Femi. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there's my predictions for Night of Champions. Should be a pretty good show.
Got a great reaction. You guys remember when Tony Schiavone was in the ring with Will Ospreay last week, and he mentioned something along the lines of him getting married and then him plowing his wife over and over and over again all night long, and how lukewarm of a reaction it was? Wasn't lukewarm for Trick Williams, who literally did and said the same thing, but he said it in a very Trick Williams-like way.
Well, might will end the video. I made it long enough. I don't make it too long. I don't make it longer like my last video on Raw, so I'll just make it here. Now I'm not sure if I will do a live stream because tomorrow's gonna be a long day. As you guys know, I have to go to my dad's funeral. My dad passed away a couple weeks ago. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing the funeral. We have to do the wake and then the ceremony. Gotta be there for his obituation. I think called the obituary. Have to be there for his obituary. Yeah, they come in wake and then the funeral. Yeah, very sad day for me. But I want to thank you for all. I just want to thank my fans, my friends, for all the support and the love you guys support on this channel. I won't do live stream. I might do it maybe tomorrow night, but it won't be early. Yeah, 'cause tomorrow gonna be a long day, like I said. Yeah, so hopefully y'all enjoyed this live stream tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Hit that like button. Leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I will see y'all later.